Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lillian. For the new subscribers who I want to thank very much for subscribing to my channel. I hope you find my channel interesting and that you get to benefit from it as well. So like I promised, today we are going to talk about the requirements and the steps that you need to take in order for you to be able to enroll for the Aupair program. And these steps that I'm going to talk about today apply for both Germany and Austria. Yeah. And if you want to benefit from this information, I would advise you to please get yourself a pen and a piece of paper in order for you to be able to make some notes, because they have about 6 points. Yeah, 6 points. So let's go. The first point is that in order for you to qualify for the Aupair program, you need to be in between the ages of 17 to 26 years old. If you are older than this, please don't lose hope. I have another program that I'm going to talk about in my next video, and it involves people between the ages of 17 to 99 years old. So there is something for everyone. Yeah. So for Aupair, you need to be between 17 to 26 years old. And the second point is you need to have a valid passport. And the requirements, or what they mean by a valid passport, is that your passport should be valid up to a minimum of 3 months and not older than 10 years. Yeah. And if you do not have a passport, the cost of applying for a passport in Kenya is 4,500, not unless things have changed. Yeah, that's it from the last time I checked. The third point, which is the most important point, I think, is language. In order for you to be able to enroll for Aupair program, you need to have basic knowledge of German language. On their website in the embassy, they have written that they need the A1 level certificate. But I know for a fact that if you go there with the A1 certificate, it's very hard for you to get a visa. So I would advise you to do the level A1 to B1. The German level is divided into parts. They have the A1, A2, B1, B2, C1, and C2. And A1 to B1 will be enough for the Aupair. So the tricky part about language is that it's expensive. The cost of doing the German language is a little expensive. I took the liberty of Googling what the actual costs are as of now, and I saw that the A1 level costs 35,000 Kenyan shillings. The A2 level goes for 35,000 Kenyan shillings, and the B1 level goes for 31,000 Kenyan shillings. There are additional costs, and that is the books. During my time, it was 3,000 Kenyan shillings. Unfortunately, I could not find these on their website. I do not know if that have changed. You'd have to call and ask. I'm sorry about that. And in additional to that, there's a preparation for the exam. That is like a mock exam for the main exam, and that goes for 4,000 Kenyan shillings for the A1 level, and for the B1 level it goes for 8,000 Kenyan shillings. Yeah. So language is very important. You need this. Without this, you should not even go to the embassy. It will be zero work. You will not get a visa. You do need the language skills. You do need to show this on certificate. And something else I wanted to add on this, I know in Nairobi, for example, there are other schools that do offer German courses, but I would highly advise you to take your course in Goethe Institute, because regardless of where you learn German, regardless of which school you take a German course, the exams, the final exams have to be written or to be taken in Goethe Institute. It does not matter if in Wajir, even Marsabit, you have to travel all the way to Nairobi. But I think they now have a branch in Mombasa. The people from Mombasa do not have to travel all the way to Nairobi like they used to during my time. But I would advise you to do that in Goethe Institute, because as an external student, you always pay extra. For example, when the Goethe Institute students are paying 7,000 for their examination, you as an external student will pay 2,000 shillings more. You will pay 9,000. Yeah. So I'd highly advise you to enroll yourself in Goethe Institute. And the other advantage of Goethe Institute is that they have a library, a big one, so it's resourceful. You can always do your research there and benefit from it. And because I remember during my time, students from other Other schools who are learning German used to come all the way to our school in order to be able to access the library because they did not have this advantage. Yeah. So language is very important. Remember that when you go to the embassy, your interview will be conducted in German. So the more you take this seriously, the better for you. Which brings me to the next point, which is a host family, finding a host family. Some people prefer using an agent. Agents are very expensive. When I came to Germany, I also used an agent. That was about 10 years ago, and I paid 40,000 Kenyan shillings. But I know of people who came after me and they paid up to 100,000, 150,000. It's quite expensive. But the good news is you do not actually need an agent. You can look for a host family for yourself under the website www.aupairworld.com. I'll try to include that in my description box. And there you can find your own host family. And I'd advise you also, in order for you to be able to be in contact with a lot of families, to pay for the premium, which is 5,000 Kenyan shillings. But you cannot compare these 5,000 Kenyan shillings to paying an agent if you have to pay over 100,000 Kenyan shillings. You get my point? So I'd advise you to pay for the premium, also so that you can also be able to read the messages from the host families who want to get into contact with you, and so that you can be able to contact whatever family pleases you. That brings us to the fifth point, which is your profile in Aupair World. Think about it like Facebook. It's a profile where you talk about yourself. It's like you're selling your product out there to the host families. So you have to talk about yourself, what kind of a person you are, what your interests are, what kind of a background you come from, what your hobbies are. Your profile should be decent. It should be a profile that people want to look at, and people should have the feeling that they're interacting with you through your profile. And by this I mean you should post some pictures. They should be decent. Please don't post some funny selfies with some funny backlight where someone cannot see your face clearly, or you're doing some Instagram poses. It should be assumed that you're going for a job interview. How would you look like? That's how you're supposed to present your profile. Also, you need to post pictures not only of you. You can also post pictures of you and your siblings, or of you playing with kids, or of you with your parents. Just some nice decent pictures that talk about yourself. Yeah, you also have the possibility to post videos on your profile. That will be an added advantage for you. And also for the people who can for the people who have references. And by references I mean maybe you work in a nursery school, maybe you've been a nanny in the Arab countries, and you can find someone to who can be your reference. That would also be an added advantage for you. You can include that in your profile too. The other thing I want to talk about your profile is that please write your profile in German and not in English. It's a competition. Imagine there are girls all over Kenya who want to get a host family all over Asia and other countries, and you have written your profile in English, and several girls or boys have written their profile in German. Of course, those who have written their profile in German will be considered before you, because the family also wants to be with someone who they can understand each other, Yeah, so the more you polish your language skills, the better for you. And that's why you should take your language skills very importantly, because you will need this at the embassy. And if you do not want to spend a lot of money with an agent, you will need this on your aupairworld.com profile too. Yeah, that's how important language is. And the last point is that you need a KCSE certificate from NEC. Yeah. So if you did not do your KCSE, it does not look so nice for you. Yeah, that is a requirement at the embassy in order for you to qualify for the Aupair program. Yeah, and how does it look like when you're here as an au pair? When you come here as an au pair, you get your own room. Some au pairs are fortunate enough to have their own bathroom and their own toilet, but not all. Your room should be furnished. That's a requirement on the host family's side. It should be furnished. The only thing you need to bring is your suitcase and your clothes, nothing more. And it's a live-in situation. You do not have to go renting an apartment or or a hostel or something like that. You live together with the family. It's also a requirement that, or actually it's a must that you also continue learning your German language when you're in Germany. That's why it's called an exchange program. You come here and learn their language and learn their culture, and of course the language will not be for free. The family is required to pay half of the amount of money that's required for the language school, and you're supposed to pay the next half. Some families are kind enough to pay the whole amount. Some will stick to the rule and they will pay the half and you pay the other half, which it's not that dramatic because it's not expensive for au pairs. Yeah. And as an au pair, you also have 2 weeks vacation. Yeah, so you can decide together with your family when you want to take your vacation. Yeah, that you talk about with your host family. And as an au pair, you get an allowance of 280 euros. It's not much, I know, but look at the bigger picture. You should think as au pair like you are like a stepping stone for you to build a future in Germany. Normally, you're supposed to go back to Kenya or where you came from after your au pair year, but most of us do not do that. Of course, we are looking for greener pastures, which brings us to the next point. After your au pair year, you have other opportunities that you can partake. For example, the voluntary year, the social voluntary year, or if you are German language schools, which does not happen in, if your German skills are good enough, you can already go to school, but that will not be the case in 1 year. I can promise you that German is a hard language and you need a lot of practice. So in the next video, we will be talking about the social year. It's called FSJ. That can be the next opportunity for you to stay in Germany, and the visa and what you need in order to get this. And I hope this video was helpful for a lot of people. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section and I will try my best to answer you. So have a nice time and see you in the next video. Bye bye.